Now, let me ask you guys. Jared, I'll have you go first. Brian, I'll have you go next. Who's the one player that we didn't mention that if you were on the clock, you would be picking, or a guy that you potentially would take at the back end of the first round?
Yeah, so my top 11 are all gone. My number 12 guy is Denzel Mims.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and he waited longer to hear his name called than I thought he was going to. He ended up going in the late second round. I thought he might be an early second rounder, but I like the landing spot with the Jets. I still believe in Sam Darnold. I don't believe in Adam Gase. So, the quicker he can get out of there, the better. But I do think Denzel Mims, has the potential, a pretty clear path to emerge as, Sam Darnold's long-term number one target. We know Mims has the size, athleticism, has a pretty good college production profile. Those Baylor wide receivers scared me. Like I was a huge Corey Coleman fan. He burned me bad. I don't remember the last time there was a really successful Baylor wide receiver. So that's the concern. But again, at this point of a dynasty draft, I think you're looking for upside, and I think Mims has that.
Yeah, Mims is a guy I can't get behind. I won't have any shares. I get Josh Doxson 2.0 vibes. As you mentioned, the Baylor receiver. It's just in the hype train got built so early on Twitter. Whenever there's a hype train behind somebody, it never seems to pan out. So when you take that and the Baylor receiver, and I'm with you on Darnold. I think there is still potential there. Obviously, they have to fix their offensive line. Obviously, they need to fix their Adam Gase problem. Like I saw a stat on Twitter. It was like every offense that Adam Gase has ran that didn't include Peyton Manning were all in like the 20s. So yeah, it turns out if you have Peyton Manning, arguably, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, your offense is pretty good. It's weird how that works out. Brian, what about you? Who's the next guy that you'd be pounding the table for that should be next on this list?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably be going with Burrow here. I like kind of him being tied with T. Higgins, so we know he's going to have his clear number one for pretty much the duration that his first contract is under. Tyler Boyd is still under contract. Joe Mixon, if they could work out a deal, like Jared alluded to, he's a top 10 talent in the NFL at the position, and I think they can really kind of smooth things over with him. He's got an elite running back. He's going to have two really good wide receivers on the outside. They're building this team around what Joe Burrow succeeds at, which is what we saw him do at LSU. And I think for the first couple of years of his career, he could be one of those rookie quarterbacks who is fantasy relevant right away. Not like the first year he really struggles, and then the second year takes another step, and then the third year is when we see him blow up. I think as a rookie, he's going to be somebody in two quarterback rosters that you're going to want to get early, like one of the first, second quarterbacks off the board, just for the opportunities in the kind of offense they're going to want to put him in.
Yep. For me, Darrington Evans. I love him. App State running back. I think, you're all like, what?
Do you think he's more than a change of pace guy as a pro?
Yeah, I think he could. I think he could be a feature back. Yeah, and I think
it's interesting with Derrick Henry, obviously, only on the 1 year deal.
Yep, I'm really curious. Like if they don't extend him, I think there's a very legitimate shot that Evans is your starting running back in 2021. And I think this offense could be evolving. Obviously, they have A.J. Brown. They locked up Tannehill. Maybe they go a little more past. Like maybe that's just the Titans fan in me that hopes they open it up a little bit. But when we saw the passing game, there was flashes. They have A.J. Brown. They kind of have Corey Davis. We'll see what happens there. Jonnu Smith. But I think Evans is legit. I think there's a lot to like about him. I think he's a guy that really fits in the modern NFL. Obviously as a pass catcher, but I think he can be a between the tackles guy. I think the fact that they used the third round pick on him says a lot. I mean, he's basically 5'10", 200 pounds. That's, a typical running back size. That's not like, undersized by any means. If you go watch some of the tape, watch the South Carolina game, watch the North Carolina game, he runs really strong, knows what he's doing, patient, waits for his blockers, and then gets to the hole and goes. I think there's a legit shot. He's a compliment to Henry this year and a replacement for Henry next year.